So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Ask Ray. I'm Ray. I'm the host of this channel, or the show on this channel. If you have a question for me or a comment or something that you would like for me to elaborate on, please feel free to leave it down below in the comments of this video. Now that that's all being said and done, let's go ahead and talk about what you guys talked about last week, if that makes any sense. Did Jim Root show you how to accurately play Vermilion or other songs after the interview in August? No, so he didn't. So after the interview in August, we were just hanging out and just talking. My friend and I, Dean, my best friend of like 20 some years, and him and a couple other people in the Slipknot camp, we were all just sitting around just talking, just, you know, basically. Yeah, Jim actually was starting to tell some funny stories about tour in the past, and we never really talked about how to play Vermilion or any other songs, but he told me some pretty funny stories, and one in particular about Philadelphia, and I'll leave that between him and I and my friend. But it was pretty funny, to say the least. So he never showed me how to play Vermilion correctly. But, you know, I got some good stuff, some good conversation from him after the interview. I don't make any money making my art, but that doesn't mean I'm not an artist. Exactly. So in the last Ask Ray, I said, or I elaborated on somebody's comment saying, like, you know, you're nothing unless you make money playing guitar. And that's total nonsense, and I totally disagree with that 1000%. So just because you're not making any money doesn't mean you're not a phenomenal guitar player or you're not an artist. So I concur with you, sir. Hey Ray, always love your positivity, brother. Well, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. My question is, with the advance in guitar equipment, Fishman pickups, amp sims, headless guitars, new brands, etc., what would you consider to be the new standard of guitar playing these days, and will be the old ways be dead and gone? So honestly, I think the new standard of guitar playing is that everybody's just phenomenal, basically. I mean, I think, like, maybe with the advance of the internet, now everybody can be seen, but it just seems like in the last 3 years even, like, everybody's just so good at guitar, man. It's just like, I think the new standard is just like the overall ability to play. It's like everybody can play phenomenally these days. And again, I don't know if that's just because of the internet and everybody has a platform to showcase their skills. I don't know. And I think to always be dead and gone, I don't know. It's hard to describe and hard to determine, like, what's the old ways and will they be dead and gone. But I do want to say, like, I think the big bands, like the giant bands, are dead and gone, at least for the foreseeable future. Like, I don't think there'll ever be a band as big as Metallica or Slipknot or Avenged Sevenfold even. Like, even Five Finger Death Punch. Like, I really don't know if there'll be any of those bands. Now, say what you want about those bands. If you like them, that's great. If you don't, that's okay too. But I think there's just going to be a lot more niche kind of direction with artists, and I think everybody's going to have, like, a dedicated fan base, but globally and just massive bands, I don't know if that'll ever happen again. Here's a question: why do you look younger than my dad, but you're in your 50s? Well, I was born in 1992, so if you do the math correctly, I'm like 59 currently. I'm almost 60. So I'm not really sure why I've been blessed with such boyish looks here in my late 50s, but, you know, I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey Ray, sorry if this question has been asked before, but what is your favorite guitar brand? What is my favorite guitar brand? That changes all the time. Okay, it's between two. It's between Fender and Dean. Fender, because I've always been infatuated with the Stratocaster. That was like my first guitar that I ever loved. When I was like 10, 11 years old. I always loved the Strat. I just liked the way it looked, and, you know, I just was always infatuated with that. But at the same time, my favorite brand probably would be Dean here in 2020, just because the Dean team has been nothing but amazing to me, and I know all of them personally, and they're just so good to the channel and so good to me. Again, Evan and Eric and Vinny and both Johns and Chris Cannell from DSide, he works with Dean. They're just, and anybody who I didn't mention, they're just all so good to me. And yeah, I just love the Dean team. So they're probably my favorite brand at this moment in time. Not necessarily because of the brand itself, but because of the people behind the brand, if that makes any sense. What an ignorant thought process to not believe that you're a part of the community in 2020. There are 1,000 ways to link up and build community over the internet with other guitars. Exactly, man. You hit it on the nail on the head, Travis. Travis, fellow patron, fellow awesome dude, great supporter of the channel. You're right, man. You're absolutely right. It's like, you know, I think, I don't want to put people in a category, but it seems like the people of previous generations as a whole don't think, like, hey, if you're not, like, touring all over the world, if you're not in an Iron Maiden or a Megadeth, like, you're nobody. And like I said in this video, like a couple minutes ago, like those days are dead and gone, man. Like I just think that the guitar industry and the music industry in general It's going to just be much more niche based. And, you know, you'll have a dedicated fan base and you can still make a living on your music, but it's like you got to do a lot more now. You got to be a marketer, a marketing specialist of your own entity and your own brand just as much as you are a musician. You know, like there's phenomenal musicians out there, but you got to be good at playing, you got to be good at marketing, you got to be good at being like relatable, you got to be great at public speaking, or at least decent at public speaking in my opinion. You got to like be a well-rounded artist and like I said, entity in the YouTube side of things and just the internet in general. It's like you got to have the whole package, man. And just because, you know, you're not making a ton of money in your music alone, you can still sustain an income, you know, selling merch, selling your music, selling lessons, all of the above. It's like it's a whole big package of what makes you as an artist. It's not just like put a record out, tour, make millions. It doesn't work like that anymore. You know, you gotta be smart and you gotta be savvy and you gotta be kind of slick and you gotta be, you know, you gotta hustle, man. It's like all the above. And, you know, like you said, man, there's a million ways to do that and a million ways to link up. It's a little harder and not everybody makes it. Unfortunately, it's really kind of sad that not everybody makes it in the industry. But, you know, those that do make it in 2020 and beyond, more often than not, they're not in a giant band and they're hustling to make ends meet and make a living and grow their entity and their brand and their identity using the internet to do so. So I agree with you 1000%. It is ignorant to say like, hey, if you're not making millions, you're nobody in the community. Well, everybody, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you have something that you want for me to elaborate on or comment on or answer any one of your questions that you've yet to get to me, please feel free to leave it down below in the comments of this video, and I'll be sure to square you away. I'm out of here. A huge shout out to all my patrons. If you guys are interested in doing lessons with me, they're available via Patreon. Head on down, hit the link, and you'll sign up there. I'm out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching one more time. Stay metal, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.